Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Ask the Consultant, live from the Innovation Studio here in beautiful Seattle, Washington. I'm your host, Braden Kelley, and today we're going to tackle the second most popular question I get, which is, Braden, why did you write Stoking Your Innovation Bonfire, and what can I get out of it if I get myself a copy? Well, the purpose behind the book is to help people build a roadmap to a sustainable culture of ingenuity and purpose. And it all came about from looking at all of the books that were out there on the market and noticing that there was a real gap in terms of helping people get beyond innovation as a project. There's a lot of hardworking innovation professionals out there. Innovation isn't easy, and I wanted to give people a guide that would take people across a range of important elements of innovation and tackle those barriers that you face on each of those elements. So the book organizes things by looking at the different blockages that you can run into when you're working with innovation, and that includes vision, strategy, goals, insights, idea generation, idea evaluation, that's picking the ideas, idea commercialization, bringing them to market and making those ideas real and into solutions that hopefully will be successful in the marketplace. But then also behind the scenes things like the organizational psychology and how that can be a blocker for innovation, the information and structural blockages that can occur within an organization that keeps the organization from innovating in a sustainable way. And then looking at how to make innovation more of a continuous pursuit. How do you get to sustainability in your innovation efforts? So when you bring that all together as a picture, you get this infinite innovation infrastructure that I created, and that shows how all of these elements come together, and that's covered in the book. And it's a really powerful framework for helping to make sure as an innovation manager that you're looking after all of the details as you put your program together, or as you're reevaluating your program or auditing your program with a tool like the free innovation audit that I make available at innovationbonfire.com. And some of the key concepts that we cover in the book is, number one, that innovation is a numbers game, and that, for every 1,000 ideas that people might give you, 100 of those might be worthy of conducting a small experiment with to validate some of the potential of that idea. 10 of those might turn into real projects. And then out of 1,000 ideas, you might only end up with 2 or 3 successes. It's very much like the venture capital model, where you have to place bets, and you have to place smart bets by doing the proper amount of experimentation and risk mitigation through those experiments. So as you go along, you have to have that courage to say no to certain ideas so that you have the money and the time available to invest in the ones that show promise, and continue experimenting and continue looking at those things that are going to push an idea forward. And so that's really what we dive into in the book. And the fact that it takes a great deal of effort and lift to get to that innovation moonshot, to go all the way from that insight, which comes before the ideas, and then to create a definition of the challenge that you're trying to solve, to generate those ideas, to vet them, to enhance them, to continuously iterate, prototype, and test, to select your solution that you want to bring to market, and then start developing that solution, educate the marketplace about your solution, and get people to adopt it. Because, as we covered in episode 1, that innovation and invention are not the same things, and that for something to become an innovation, it has to reach that wide scale adoption. It has to replace the existing solution, even if it's the do-nothing solution. And so we spend a fair amount on the fact that insight, not ideas, are the beginning of the innovation process, the beginning of the innovation pursuit, and how you get to insight. And then we also spend a great deal of time looking at the human aspects of innovation as well in the book, and the things that you need to unlock the different levels of potential within your people. So, if you just want obedience from your people, then leveraging, a nice framework from Gary Hamel, we can build upon it and create this innovators framework. But, if you just want obedience from people, then you can play on their fear and their greed. But if you want to move up the chain to the top level of contribution that any employee can make, and that's contributing to innovation and the rejuvenation of your company over time or your organization, then you have to provide people with insights, and you have to give them the flexibility to pursue not just their day job, but these new potential opportunities that show promise. Another key thing that's covered in the book is the 9 innovation roles, and this was one of the late great additions to the book and one of the most popular parts of the book. You can see that I've invested additional time into creating card design for the 9 innovation roles, and this card design is available at the number 9 roles.com for free download and in my store. If you just want to take the design and take it to your favorite printer and get it printed. And there's a lot of other great materials at 9roles.com as well. So just want to really highlight the fact that Stoking Your Innovation Bonfire makes a great course book, whether you're a university professor or you're running an executive education program or you're building training within your organization. You really want to build that muscle for innovation, and you really want to give people a nice roadmap and a blueprint for diving deep into the key areas of innovation. Stoking Your Innovation Bonfire makes that really easy and really powerful, because it covers vision, it covers strategy, it covers goals, insights, idea generation, idea evaluation, idea commercialization, the behind the scenes, the organizational psychology, the information and structural and sustainability blockers. It's all about helping people identify and remove barriers to innovation. Because as I looked across the landscape of what was available in the bookstores and on Amazon and other e-tailers, a lot of books cover innovation as a project, but to make innovation powerful, you have to try to make it continuous. You have to try to make it sustainable. You have to have a system and a foundation in place, the infrastructure to make continuous innovation a possibility. And so that's what Stoking Your Innovation Bonfire lays out. And that's why it makes a great course book for universities and executive education and other kinds of training. And if you want to use the book in your university course, then feel free to reach out to me, and maybe in one of your class sessions I can jump in and do a Q&A, and ask me anything kind of thing. So so I hope you'll check the book out, and you can find out where to get it at innovationbonfire.com. And you can also check out my other book, Charting Change, and please support these efforts with the Ask the Consultant, and drop me a line on my contact me page at bradenkelley.com if you have a question that you want me to cover in a future session. So live from the Innovation Studio, this has been Braden Kelley in Seattle, Washington, and keep innovating.